Hi, book club members. I'm Jen.
And I'm Keri.
And this is Warhammer 40k Book Club, where we read from a crag. This is episode number 135, and our book is Morvenn Vahl, Spear. Oh, I forgot my copy. Spear of Faith by Dr. Jude Reid. It tells the story of the Abbotess Sanctorum as she returns to Ophelia 7 to defend it from a Night Lord's invasion. You knew that Jen was already on board with this. We posted several questions on our website, WH40kbookclub.com, and we encourage participation in our conversations via YouTube, our site, or Encrypted Vox channel. Spoiler warning, if you haven't yet listened to the book, definitely check it out before listening to this episode, as we'll be discussing the book from start to finish in great detail. With that, let's dive in. As always, Keri, did you like the book?
I love the book. Loved it.
From the beginning. I really enjoyed it. You liked it from the beginning.
I did.
All right.
I honestly, like, I can see where some people wouldn't with her, like, talking to the council, but I personally loved it because I was like, let's just show how inept government really is when it affects, our interests. And we don't want to get up and do anything. And those are our resources that we just don't feel like sharing with other people. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, the threat's not on our doorstep. Right. So why do we need to send people out there?
Yes, I would actually say that I did not like the bookends. I did not like the beginning of the book with her talking with the Lords of Terra, and I didn't like the end of the book with her talking with the Lords of Terra.
No, I did. I thought it was great.
I have questions. What is Bob doing on Terra?
Don't know, don't care. It was amazing. When he showed up.
Oh my God, woman.
I literally, in my car, I do it like that. In my car, I was so excited.
My first reaction was, oh my God, Bob. But then my second reaction was, wait a minute. What? How does this math? But you know what? What even is time?
What even is time?
What even is time?
They keep changing the time. So what does it? I mean, honestly, like at this point, I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even care. Nothing fits anyway. I'm going to assume this is after Dawn of Fire. I'm sure someone's going to come in here and say, no, it's not because of this. You know what? I don't care. I after they retconned Dark Imperium to not be 100 years after, I no longer care. Because you know why? Because it was breaking my brain. And the more I'm looking into it, the more I was realizing Games Workshop doesn't care.
I think that's actually true. Do you remember in the olden days when they actually put the dates in the books?
Yes, I do.
Pepperidge Farms remembers too. Mm-hmm. I actually really missed that. And it does. And
I'm pretty sure that's on purpose.
Logistically. So, okay. I was never a fan fiction person, and I could just never get into fan fiction because what happened in this, like, canonically is what happened. You
right.
can't. So, like, I always am trying to, like, but how does this fit on the top? Like, I will admit that is one of my things that I'm a real stickler for. Is like, but how does that make sense with this? Anyways, that part I was like, but Bob, it's really hard to be upset with Bob. What part stood out to you, Keri, other than Bob?
I think Valdor might have called him. I'm pretty sure that he and Valdor have a special...
Dolores?
Sorry. Well, it's the same.
Oh my God. We don't talk about Valdor ever since the Penitent books.
Okay. No. Valdor, Dolores. It's not fair. You can't have like the top custodies have like the very similar name 10,000 years apart.
Okay. So I was telling my husband about that to that point. I was just like, oh my God, and Trajan Valoris is the one who sends her off. And he's like, well, shouldn't he be busy being a new father? Because giant soulless babies, you see. And I was like, that's Valerian. No, that's the guy from the Heresy. No, that's Valdor. We need custodies who have names that don't start with VA.
Or VAL.
Like, we need Valerian, Valoris, Valdor. Oh, God, you're right. Just the Val squad. It's like Heathers. They're the Vals. Dated references are dated. Anyways, let's
Yeah.
move on to what
Well,
part
I
stood
mean,
out to you other than Bobby showing up.
like we've all known the mom that had to have a theme with their kids' names, like named them like all BR names or something.
H names, you know who you are.
I was like, shit, that's not me. No. like, like
H names. Do my children's names start
no,
with
I
H?
mean, this is one of those things like, oh my God, I feel seen, but why?
Oh, why do I feel seen? Um, yes, that's fair. Anyways, moving on.
Okay,
Finally,
so
to what part stood out to you?
anyway, so Valoris, I'm pretty sure he and Bob have a special speed dial.
Probably. He's just like, mm, 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 mm. um, he
He
actually,
goes straight
he is
into his
just,
helmet.
he is delightful. So if you remember in the Watchers of the Throne series, speaking of my giant soulless babies, um, he orchestrates a lot of things around the Lords of Terra, right? Like he's not breaking the rules, but he's definitely doing some stuff, right? And I liked that he kind of does that in this book too. And I like with how he clearly is a supporter of Morvenn Vahl.
Well, it's
He was a really nice, I really like him as a character in general. So anytime he shows up, I'm always like, heck yeah. Uh, really liked what they did with him, and just I
but
liked her observations about the lords in general, specifically the Lord of the Assassinorum.
honestly, this is why I want to. One reason why I want a third Watchers of the Thrones book is because I really liked how Chris Reid dissected the Lords of Terra and how they treated Robbie Bobby's return. Because all they see is a threat to their power. And then they kind of get upheaved a little bit. He, reanoints some new ones because, Valoris is like, oh my God, the son of the Emperor is back. You're totally Lord Regent, right? That makes perfect sense. He's Lord Regent. You guys, I mean, do you want to go up against this man? No, nobody wants to go up against Robbie Bobby. Like not even Valoris wants to. So they're all upset. Then he kind of does a little upheaval, gets new lords, and then in the second book, what happens? Like half of them betray him because if you can't get good politicians that won't, stab you in the back, like where can you get good politicians? And then, but you have them now here, and they're still also complacent. Just like it's not affecting me personally. It's like they've kind of like the reason why I like this so much is like, it's any other government, right? It's not affecting me. Why do I care what happens to other people?
Right. And really, what's more important is what we talk about in this council. Like that stuff that's like Ophelia 7, like that's not real. We're doing real stuff here. Like you want to go out and like fight? Oh my God.
Like doesn't he just disappear anyway? Like what's the big deal? Like,
well, I liked
and
that when
even
she was
the cardinal
like the idea
was
of
just
going
like,
in. Oh my God.
no
In particular,
backbone.
that guy. In particular,
No
that guy.
backbone. I don't even like the ecclesiarchy. And even I understand we don't let worlds fall to night lords. Like I don't know how hard this is.
Well, and it's one of their it's one of their worlds.
Especially not
Like
with a bunch of adeptus sororitas. Like you can't find more loyal soldiers, people.
right. And it would kind of be like if like when Ball was under attack or when McCrag was under attack, right? Like when the major worlds come under attack, we tend to take notice, right? And the idea that the sisters occupy such an interesting space in general in the Warhammer 40k universe. The fact that the ecclesiarchy guy was even like, meh. Oh, excuse me? This is your armored division. And the Inquisition was like, meh. Excuse me?
That doesn't
Like,
surprise me with the Inquisition because they probably are always
to be
like,
fair.
they're like, yeah, but we don't like the fact that they have saints as it is because only we can decide what's a saint. So I totally was not surprised the Inquisition was just like, eh.
Right. It
And same
it
thing with
definitely
the
shows
Mechanicus.
how they
Eh.
Oh, the Mechanicus didn't surprise me in the least, right? That they're just like, we have like much because I'm sure on some level the Fabricator General was like, I've run some math and that's really not as statistically relevant as this over here.
The
fair.
navigators. Oh my.
The
Oh
navigators.
my God. Such a snake.
The navigator, the astropathica, like, come on, you people. I did like Morvenn Vahl's commentary on, I cannot think of his name right now, it's killing me, but the Assassinorum. I liked when she's looking around the room and she's like, none of these people are a threat to me except for that guy. That guy's genuinely dangerous. And I like the way and they did this in the Watchers of the Throne book too, where he just comes across as very just like this guy. Like, I'm just a guy. No, you are not. You are you are easily the most dangerous person in this room.
He's a wallflower. He will
Exactly.
kill you with a look.
I liked all of her little commentary on the lords. Was Vahl a good leader?
Yes.
I don't. So there was a part in this book that really stuck out to me with her, and it tapped into a concept that I love. And I think I've mentioned this in this podcast before, but like one of the core themes of the Song of Ice and Fire series is that conquest is easy, ruling is hard. And Morvenn kind of has to think about this towards like the 2/3 mark as well, where she's like, I was a phenomenal Celestine because she's a good fighter. She's good at getting into the battle and like killing stuff. But I liked when the canoness tells her, you are not a good leader. You need to learn how to lead. You are not, leading does not mean getting up in the fray and, taking it to the enemy all the time. Like, sometimes you have to hang back. Did she learn that lesson? I don't know. Discuss. You liked her as a leader.
I did, and I guess I totally glossed over the canoness telling her she's not a good leader. I remember the canoness kind of schooling her when she was having her doubt, but I guess I didn't remember that scene.
When she tells her, she's like, you need to learn how to lead. You've insulted our allies, the Black Templars, and you have potentially cost us resources. Like, she was looking at it more from like the kind of like what it reminded me of a little bit. God, we're gonna reference the Watchers of the Throne like 16 times in this podcast tonight. The second Watchers of the Throne book, where what is her name? Is it Jet? Jed. Anyways, the lady who's on the council.
Okay.
When she's talking with Reboot Guilliman and she's like, could you just please stay and help and give us a little more guidance and a little more help? And he looks at her and she's like, oh my God, this is every conversation he has. Like, he's having to juggle the weight of all of this, and he's having to be a tactician. And my headset's driving me crazy tonight. He's having to be a tactician and he's having to think about all of these things. Like, that's kind of what the Abbess Sanctorum has to do. Like, I'm glad she went to Ophelia 7, but the fact that she was like, nope, I'm the one who's got to kill the Death of Saints. I liked when they told her, like, man, you've made some interesting leadership decisions. Good battle decisions. Interesting leadership decisions.
I guess. I mean, I thought she was a good leader in battle. I mean,
she was that.
I mean, shit, she took down 2 Helldrakes. Maybe she didn't, have the Death of the Saints, but she, she she killed 2 dragons. Okay, so we got that going for us.
She killed the Death of Saints.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, even if she didn't, you still took down 2 dragons.
Well, the Black Templars on the one. We're going to talk so much about the Black Templars in a second because I just loved them in this book too. Actually, let me jump back to things that stuck out to us. The relationship between the Black Templars and the sisters in this book was so wonderful. So
Agreed.
Wonderful. I loved, and this was a part where I thought that Morvenn Vahl was a very good leader. And I liked that Jude Reid did not fall into some of the pitfalls that we see some other books go into, where it wasn't like she didn't need to shame the Black Templars. She didn't need to be like, look, we're better than you. We're the ones who are in charge here. And likewise, the Black Templars didn't need to do that either, of like, shut up. Like, we're in charge here. We're bigger. We're better. They were common allies. And I did like when she was like, no, that does not work for us. We're going to do our own thing. I liked that. The Castellan was like, okay, not happy, but that is your want. You can do that. I really liked the relationship that they had between these two allies that come together to fight.
I was sad when
because
he
they just love that Emperor
when
guy.
Tancred got eaten.
That made me sad.
What an ignominious way to go.
Oh my god. It's still not the worst. That honor still goes to
Swords of Calth.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flayed ones eating the dreadnought. That's just oh my god. That's the bar. That is the absolute bar for there's nothing worse than this.
No, but this one made me think of Jurassic Park Lost World, so that's why because remember when the two T-Rexes grabbed that one guy and decided to play tug of war? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just so casual about it. No one like ever said anything. It's like, oh, the guy that was going to save us, like he just got, ripped in half.
Devoured.
Yeah. And like the flayed ones, like these Heldrex didn't eat him.
No.
They just killed him and they ripped him in half and then spit him out.
Yep. It was spiteful.
Yep.
It's a spiteful way to die. I liked how contemplate. I'm struggling tonight. I liked how contemplative Morvenn Vahl was too. I do like that she did not. She resisted the urge for self-pity.
Yes.
She'd resisted the urge of I'm not worthy. It was more of like
thank God.
Thank God. Oh my God. We're going to talk a lot more about the sisters in general.
Her to have a repentia moment, and then I was going to be like, and forget this book. But she didn't. So
we're going to talk a lot more about how Jude Reid treats the sisters in general. But yes, you're absolutely correct. I was also kind of expecting that, but I liked that she could think to herself, man, life was a lot simpler when I was a Celestine. And there were a lot of people who deserved this more than I did. But by God, I'm here and I'm going to make it work.
The Lords most likely chose her because they could manipulate her, basically.
And
but she's probably right.
Probably true. Probably true. The fact that she is, or, probably guessing that she's going to be more of an absentee figure on the council anyways, because she is, I'm going out and fighting. I'm taking I will go get my hands dirty. Right? I don't know how much time I didn't get, from the ending of the book, I did not get the impression that she's like, okay, and now I'm back here to serve on this council, and what's next on the docket? Well, more of like, and I'm back, and oh, look at that, another world needs my help. Peace.
Well, she kind of was, though. Because she's like, what's next on the docket? Yes, let's discuss Holy War. Honestly, like, that was like such the perfect ending. I had goosebumps all over.
Let's talk about the Death of Saints really quick. First off, did you like him as an antagonist?
I did. Yes, I liked Another Night Lord. Like, I felt sorry for him because, I mean, again, like kind of as you were talking about in Discord earlier this week, that they're broken guys. These are broken people that are constantly looking for family in their own sick, twisted ways. And they have no idea how to look for family.
Yeah. This did nothing for, I can't remember if I went on this little tangent we talked about the Night Lords books, but I've always had this theory that the Night Lords are kind of like the Lost Boys. Yes, the Santa Carla Lost Boys, not the Neverland Lost Boys. Because they are just these teenagers who have never really grown up and they're horrendously violent. But they're really, this is all Space Marines are just, as you said, they're struggling for that sense of brotherhood, that sense of family, that sense of
belonging.
Something, yeah, like just something to give them like meaning and hope, right? And however twisted that hope might be. But this one in particular, the Night Lords, I feel like really are those lost boys. And this definitely fed into my theory on that in particular, because he's just, He's just trying to find the twin sister that was stolen from him. And, and to be fair, like, oh man, his story, it's sad because for first off, you didn't even get to become a Night Lord during like the heresy when the Primarch was running around. You got to be one in the last couple thousand years when it's definitely we've seen what have become of the Night Lords. It ain't great. And so again, the Grey Gardens have come to take you in. So you have that going for you. But also, how awful. Like, your sister, you're on a planet, it's under attack. Your sister and all of the girl children get rescued and taken away, and you get left to get recruited by the Night Lords of all people.
Well, she said someone was coming, and who knows if she meant it or not.
Right? Who knows if she was like, yeah, no, somebody's coming, and the Night Lords killed those people who were coming? I don't know. It's interesting because after reading Red Tithe,
right,
the fact that the Night Lords end up on this planet, right, makes it a little interesting. I also like the idea that a Night Lord looked at him and was like, oh yeah, we like what we see here.
You have the mark of our type of crazy.
Exactly. Exactly. Son, you got it in you to be a good crazy. I liked the idea of it. I also liked, quite frankly, I loved the scene when he's kind of given his speech about how he's coming, he's going to kill them. And then all of a sudden he gets stabbed in the back by one of his own guys. And you're like, there's the Night Lords I know and love.
That honestly just cracked me up because I just imagined him going like, because I imagine him like, what the hell? I'm in the middle of monologuing.
Actually, I could absolutely see him being like, oh, right now? Seriously? Right now? Killing him. And I would just like to imagine like the Templars and the sisters being like,
and like how he just turns around and kills them and comes back is like, so as I was saying.
Anyways. Before I was rudely interrupted.
And yeah, like you say, the Templars and the sisters, like, did that just happen?
Like, are we fighting orcs or space marines? They just, you guys, it reminded me why I love the Night Lords. These childish, crazy bastards. I love them. They're so dysfunctional.
You decided right now was the time to start this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was on brand.
Right.
Because it was a little low key petty, right? Like, treacherous. Yes. The fact that a warband was following him to collect his sister's skull. I mean, yeah, they like the blood, they like the death, especially because it does have a particular deliciousness to it that we're just killing sisters, mostly the saints. Right? Like, yeah. Not only do we not believe that the Emperor is a god, holy cow, let's go kill the people who definitely do. Like, it feels like it feels very, very on brand.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But the fact that he's like, I just want my sister back. I'm surprised that they're not like, or maybe they're all just looking at him like, same. We're looking for that something too, and you're bringing us to slaughter. Like, I guess it shows kind of how opportunistic they are.
I know, it's just like, okay, do we get to kill things? Cool. Like,
yeah, sweet, let's do it. I am definitely on board for this. He also was he had that brand of cruelty. My favorite scene is actually right before she kills him, which was a wonderful scene in and of itself. But when she has the detonator out and he's like, oh yeah, do it. Absolutely do it. The death of this world will just echo across the warp for forever. Let's go for it. Because it does show just how crazy these people are, how much they just don't care. Like, you want to talk about, they're not actually crazy. They're
people who want to watch the world burn.
Raw nihilism in these people. And yeah, that was particularly cruel. Oh yeah, let's make this ring out across the warp. Like, dude, rude. Brutal.
Rude.
Seriously, I think that's the moment when she's like, no, I'm just killing this guy. Wonderful. Let me ask you this, though. Did he represent such an existential threat that the canoness, or the abbotess, has to, basically the Pope, has to drag herself off of Terra to come fight this?
I'd say yes, just because when was the last time Ophelia 7 was actually attacked? Like, never? It's like this huge shrine world. There's all sorts of relics. I mean, my God, the Battle Sisters a lot like the Blood Angels in that way.
Oh my God.
They should have called the Blood Angels. We had to protect the relics. They would have been there in a heartbeat. Relics? I heard there's relics.
We heard there's relics and we got here as soon as we could. Yeah, because it's been under attack. I mean, it's been under attack a few times,
But
but
not like this. Not like a full
not
scale.
like this.
Full scale
Yeah.
Night Lords, like in, I guess, full scale air quotes here, Night Lords invasion, where they're, I mean, just out to seriously just raise the planet. And they even talked about how there really wasn't any reinforcements in the area. They weren't going to send anybody out there to even help because would they even get there in time? Like, what's the point?
Yeah, the fact that she got there in time was a little
right. You know, it
convenient.
kind of honestly reminds me of, sadly enough, the fires in Maui when they didn't set the alarms off and they were like, "Oh, it wouldn't have saved anybody anyway." Well, thanks for not trying.
Right.
So that's actually it's the first thing it made me think of. It's just like, well, it wouldn't do anything anyway. Well, how do you know unless you try? It's like that's honestly an argument my kids do all the time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I do with this. How do you know unless you try?
Right.
And the thing is, I think
Agreed.
she would have been fine if they had just sent contingents out there. She wouldn't have had to go. But because they're like, nah, it's no big deal. Okay.
Right. And I think it really, I don't know if he himself was such an existential threat, but just the idea of a cardinal world being under siege like that. And
For
there is
all
something,
the shrines, the saints, all the
all
saintly
the
relics.
Adeptus Sororitas. Yeah. It's really more of, it's the principle of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would have given him an
Like setting fire
incredible...
to Notre Dame.
Right. Exactly. Like it was, it's the message, right? And that is a hell of a message to send the Imperium, right? Of like, oh yeah, as to your point, not even the full Night Lords, like just a war band showed up with some Helldrakes, burned the place. Nary a finger was raised.
Never mind the fact.
At that point, you're basically putting the welcome mat out for chaos.
Well, that they talked about it was like really close to the rift as well. And it's like, so if they destroyed this place, how do you not know that the rift's not going to open up deeper? Like, you guys are missing the big picture here, which is so like a government to do. So I found it all delightful.
Agreed. It was very. It just felt like bureaucracy. It just, and one of the things that we've always said about.
I enjoy every single time that these books point out how inane the bureaucracy is of the administratum and everything else. Because like I know I'm gonna jump ahead here now to Lethe. Because this book. So I love the whole thing with the council because it just kind of shows how really ineffectual a government is when things aren't affecting them personally. And then we have Lethe. And it's just like, it's amazing how much you guys create your own fucking monsters.
Oh my God. So first off, quick point about Lethe. I love that you never figure out why her planet was burned. Never.
Oh yeah, I actually
just that it was.
I actually enjoyed the fact that they never, it's kind of like Marcel's soul, right? In the suitcase, we don't need to know.
I don't need to know what's in that suitcase. I do not even. I know that Tarantino has said it, but I don't need to know what was in the suitcase.
Right.
I don't need to know why the land went sour in Pet Cemetery. I just need to know that it did. I'm fine with that. I am willing to. Okay, sure. I was fine not knowing the ending of the thing, not knowing who is the thing, right? there's some things that it's okay to not have to explain to us. Like, I was actually really worried there, especially when Lethe, when she's yelling at the sisters and she's like, you killed my father, you killed my planet. I was worried that someone was going to be like, oh, well, yeah, because they worshipped X, Y, and Z. Nope. Like, again, it's kind of like that Thanos moment of, you took everything from me. I don't even know who you are. I liked the idea that they're just like, yep, sure. You and millions of others.
Well,
Great.
and to be fair, not like they would have had any records.
No. Poor Lethe, but you're absolutely right. Like
They created their own monsters. They took this girl, didn't even tell her why, don't even explain like her sentence, and then they put her in, I don't even know what she's doing, gathering rocks and then
mining.
Not gathering them. It's like they were kind of clear about it because she talked about they were just going to have to dig, but then they're going to have to refill them and dig again. It's like, military busy work. Dig these fence posts.
Right.
Now refill the fence posts. But not only that, but then they put them under like the most cruel of people.
That casual cruelty. Well, but it's easy to be cruel because these people are heretics. And if they're not heretics, their families were heretics. Like, it's so easy to be casually cruel when you're like, nope,
right?
these people are subhuman. They're heretics. My job, it's the oh God, without, if you've ever read Rise of the Warrior Cop, it's the wolves and sheep, right? They are the guards of the wolves, and they're trying to sit there and protect these people, or protect the greater Imperium from these people. I'm not justifying how they're behaving, because how they behaved was awful. But you can understand how they got there, right? These people are heretics. They are subhuman. Can do whatever I want, right? And also, probably for like the guards, that's a shitty job.
Yeah.
Yep, I sit around in a mine all day and watch heretics dig for rocks. Woo! That's not fun. Like, nobody's enjoying their lives down here. Lethe, just scared. Just so scared. And her story was like a understandable roller coaster up and down, because I loved when she kind of has that self-reflection moment when she's like, oh man, did I really believe in the death of saints? Or was it just that he was the guy who rescued me? If the sisters would have rescued me, would I have just glommed onto them and been like, hell yeah.
The promise of freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's not who came to rescue her. The person who came to rescue her was the death of saints. And that's also very, very much within the Chaos Space Marines. Oh, this one amuses me.
Oh, yeah.
And I do like how I liked that she had this horrible existence where she's just basically constantly scared as a prisoner. And she gets her freedom, but then she's just constantly scared because she's surrounded by mentally unstable demigods. Out of the pan and into the fire, huh?
I mean, and then he used her, right? Sent her back with Elena's head in the box. He knew she was going to get killed or worse. Although I have to say, when Morvenn said, she's like, no, I'm not going to kill you. I have another idea for you. I was like, we're going to make her into a penitent engine. I've never been so happy for something in my entire life. And then she wasn't made into a penitent engine, and I got kind of pissed. I was like, oh my God, is this going to be another Daemonbreaker moment where they're going to like forgive her for her bad behavior? But I actually did like how her story ended.
Oh, I did too, because again, going back to what you say, first off, the arcoflagellant, that whole thing sounds just terrifying in general. But there's a cruelty in Morvenn Vahl. Like,
yes, but honestly,
justice, yes, but
Lethe deserved it. Death was too
100%.
For 100%. Sure. I didn't talk about like why she was, as a prisoner. I don't even care about that. It's just the fact that she killed Elena.
Yeah.
Someone she didn't even know. Cut off her head. Took the skull. Sorry, like you've now committed like the worst of all sins. Like, forget whatever your dad did.
Oh my God,
There's no way
right?
what he did was any worse than than what
Right.
you've done. Um, so I
Right.
was actually envisioning like her being made into a penitent engine, and she'd have to be put up against him, and maybe he would recognize her, and there'd be this weird thing. But then I was like, but would he even care? But I liked how it went. I thought it got a good ending, and it left it nice and open for them to continue to create their own monsters, because they're so good at creating their own monsters. You all right?
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. My child apparently just realized that she forgot something out in her car, and the stomping noise, if it sounded on the podcast, if
I
it
couldn't
sounds like a
hear it,
herd of
so
rhinoceros just went by, that would be my 16-year-old child. Um, anyways, I don't know what's worse, the penitent engines or the arcoflagellants. Like, I think the arcoflagellant freaks me out a little bit more. Like replacing your arms. Anyways, moving along with that one. No, she just gets used and used and used, and I kind of like this was basically her villain origin story here.
right.
That nope, okay, I loved when she was looking down at the death of saints as he's dying, and she's just like, "Oh, yeah, you do kind of suck." And then yep,
Have no use for you now. There's nothing you can do for me.
little bit of little Zinchi undertones. Girl's gonna go start her own cult.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's just gonna girl boss her way into some really evil shit. And I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do I want her ultimately to die terribly? Yes, but man, it's gonna be a fun ride getting there. Like Dr. Jude Reid needs to do something with this character because I'm here for it. She's gonna show up in some other sister's book, and we're gonna be like, "Ooh, this bitch." You'll have a little bit of a Yas Queen moment for her, you know. I do want to talk a lot about the sisters though, because you and I have
Before she experiences a fate worse than death, because I think the arcoflagellant or the penitent engine is that fate worse than death.
But here's the thing: is that it felt it was giving Zinch at the end there, right? With like change and stuff. Um, when you sprout 4 tentacles,
Or some pink wings.
not gonna lie, the wings might not be so bad. But do the wings have to come with like 5 eyes? I don't know.
Probably.
Probably. I feel like yes. I feel like you're just gonna be. You get thrust into circumstances, beyond your ken. You're now a prisoner, right? Then the Death of Saints picks you up because you amuse him. You just amuse him, right? Now, there's no way that whatever chaos nonsense is talking to her isn't doing it because you amuse it.
Well, yes.
You're a means to an end, right? Like this poor girl just bounced along
Again,
on the tidal wave that is the Imperium.
monsters, they're of their own creation. I mean, it's just
Yeah. Pretty much. And again, I'm here for it. Like I want her to appear like in the what's her name? From the Order of the Bloodied Rose, the Danny Ware character.
I don't remember her name, but
I kind of want like the Order of the Bloody Rose to have to deal with her. I want somebody else to have to deal with this girl.
Me too.
And then we'll be like, oh, I remember when she got started, when she was just but a prisoner. Again, as she girl bosses her way to like chaos cult. As one does. Apparently in the 40k universe, that's pretty common. You and I have had this weird relationship with the sisters. Right? We're constantly critiquing how they've been utilized, how they've been portrayed, what's going on, and we've had a lot of ups and downs with them. Did you like these sisters?
I did like these sisters.
I did.
I liked Elena. I liked Karam. I liked oh my gosh, Illuminata. The old prioress, she was hysterical. They were all just great.
I like that Morvenn Vahl is having to rebuild her honor guard. And I like when she's just like, well, this one woman decided she's going to join, but only if she can speak her mind. And that woman's like, yeah, I'm going to need to be able to speak my mind too. And she's like, yep, I'm here for it. I liked that they resisted the urge to do the wrist slashing. They had the one moment where they talked about Perdita, but Perdita, when they talk about Perdita and they're like, oh yeah, no, she failed her saint. She's going to have to become a Repentia. I like at the end of the book, she ain't a Repentia. She's just keeping on fighting because that's what she does. I did like when the prioress is like, well, I kind of thought I was going to be, destined for the Repentia. I wasn't expecting you to offer me a role.
Mm-hmm.
And her being like, well, yeah, Repentia would be a waste, basically.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about the whole Repentia anyway. It's a waste.
Oh my God. Oh my God. With this, I felt like Jude Reid did a really good job of making these women be very devout, very holy, very into their dogma and their beliefs, but not stupid.
Right.
And not overly emotional, wrist slashing. I'm not worthy.
Yeah, so far, I like her depiction of the sisters. I mean, I didn't like Daemonbreaker, but that's a whole other reason. And Danny Ware.
Yes.
I like their depiction of the sister. Maybe it's just because I really like the Order of the Bloody Rose. Like the Order of the Bloody Rose, the Order, where is she? The Argent Shroud, but also the Order of the Sacred Rose showed that they're pretty badass too. So it's like, I loved it all.
Mm-hmm.
This is how sisters. This is how I think sisters should be done. Like even in Pilgrims of Fire, like again, that was one of those like I liked how the sisters were done, except for that one sister who was just like, I'm still gonna be Repentia. All right, fine. It's stupid, but fine. I even basically told her that's dumb, but fine.
Right. Augusta is her name. Sister Superior Augusta of the Order of the Bloody Rose. I had to go back and look it up. I was like, what's this girl's name? Yes, I think thus far, and it's look, I don't want to get weird, but it's a little telling that the two people who are writing the sisters the best are women.
What?
Just throwing that out there.
Well, who wrote Pilgrims of Fire?
Pilgrims of Fire, that was one of the books that I felt very, that was Justin D. Hill.
Okay.
And that was one of the ones I struggled on a little bit. But you're not wrong. He did a good job. I would say that I think that Danny Ware and Jude Reid have done a better job, but he didn't do a bad job. Nothing like Requiem Infernal.
Oh, right.
Anyways.
Yeah, but weren't those Hospitalers or the Sisters of the Eternal Candle? I don't even, whatever.
Yeah, it was something with a candle. I don't remember. Didn't love them. Chris Reid did a pretty good job with that one sister who was in the Blood of Azahheim book.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Becomes BFFs with the Space Wolf.
And then she gets made into a penitent engine.
Still not happy about that.
No, but she got her revenge.
Yes, and the Space Wolves were having none of it either.
Yep.
Which talk about people who would not be down for any of that.
Right.
One of the things that you and I have talked about before is that the Adeptus Sororitas, we tend to prefer them when a lot of times when authors write them as supporting characters, not main characters. I thought this book did a really good job of a main character at every level. We saw an awesome novitiate. We saw an awesome hospitaller. We saw everybody had a moment to shine and was smart about it. I liked that when Elena has her, by the way, this also deserves mention. I like that Elena had a miraculous moment. And that was it.
Yep.
She does not have plot armor now. She is not It's not like a light switch. She can't just be like, okay, Emperor, work through me and make everything work now, and everything's awesome, and I fear nothing now. Nope.
She claps
She
like
had-
she's got a clapper. That's right.
Clap on, clap off, the Emperor. They raising. Oh,
Oh, that'd be bad when you do that and then the Astronomicon goes out.
the Astronomicon goes out. Woo,
Oh
woo.
crap. Oops. Clap back.
Oopsie poopsie. Usually you just have to stop feeding him for that to happen. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it was one of the admechs was just like, and all of a sudden, oh dear.
Oh,
Where am I? Where am I? We can't have nice
no.
things.
Oh.
No, I liked the idea that you can have this moment of just, and they also didn't delve into what it was. Like, I also enjoyed that.
Right?
It's a little bit up for a mystery. A little bit up for a mystery that just something tremendous happened. Maybe it was because she was praying that hard and she just had that moment of faith and there was literally a miraculous experience, but it wasn't some plot device for her. Like that she could just keep breaking out and keep breaking out, right? I mean, man, you want to talk about an ignoble end?
Huh.
Just some prisoner just kills her. Like Lethe, I mean, obviously we're emotionally invested in her because she's a main character, but like, she's not special. She's not a space marine. She's not, she's not a cult leader yet. She's just like this girl who kills her.
Yep, she
It-
masked as a pilgrim. Got her close.
Yep, which was also very on brand for Elena. I liked everybody's dedication to their role. I liked that there were no sisters who felt mustache twirly or just bitchy for the sake of it, right? There were no Regina Georges, or Heathers, trying to come up with the younger references, even though I know that Mean Girls is no longer a young reference. I liked that everybody was just, I mean, everybody had their own motivations. Even the canoness who snubbed her war council was like, I'm a little busy over here. There's stuff going on.
Mhm.
She wasn't a bad person. She resisted all of the Jude Reid resisted the urge to give like petty drama. Nope.
Right.
These are just awesome people doing awesome stuff. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Killing some bad guys.
What happens next?
I'm really curious what this holy war is going to be. For starters. But yes, there's obviously going to be another uprising on Ophelia 7. May not be in the next book. It may not be in a book 2 to 5 years from now, but it's coming. It's coming.
Lethe's got all the time. She's got some time. Figure out what she wants to do.
Yeah, and now she actually can make, at least she's not like a penitent, right? She's a worker.
Yep, she's just hiding in plain sight, right?
This
does.
This is the smartest thing she could have done.
Oh, easily. Showing that she's learned a little bit, right? She's savvy. She's a survivor.
Yes.
For good or ill. I liked the idea that they're going to have to rebuild new relics, new saints, new everything. We just have to kind of, it shows how the Imperium endures. And then it makes you ask yourself the question, like Saint Athanasius' skull, right? Who did her skull replace? How many saints and venerable, like how many people over the years have meant so much? And then, shit happens. Now we just have to create a new one now, right?
Oh, Imperium moves on, right?
Celestine's about the only constant.
Sure. Constant. Yeah.
Right. By the way, I also did like that they didn't actually explain how Saint Athanasia became a saint, right? She just
was. Yeah.
She just was. She didn't need to go into like all of this. It wasn't like, oh, I just forgot to explain that, or I just don't feel like, I don't know. It wasn't like a forgotten thing. It was just this isn't important to the story that I'm telling. I like that. It meant that the story got in, got out, and told a good story. It didn't pad the runtime.
Exactly. It wasn't important. We don't need to know why or how she became one. Thing is, she was one.
She was one, and it was a wonderful juxtaposition to her brother.
You're right.
I was kind of like a little on the nose, but I like it. I guess the sisters just rebuild. They rebuild. They make Ophelia 7 bigger, badder, stronger, and
Make it great again.
They're gonna make Ophelia great again, and just gonna go on and continue to fight in the Emperor's name. I am curious as to what the Holy War is. Is she gonna go and just be like, you know what? We're taking the battle to
who?
God, I don't know. Where do you say even? Because they're beset upon all sides. So, but like, just throw a dart at a map. Like, we're taking the Holy War there. Don't worry, there'll be something there.
I mean, the Black Templars are down for it. They're always crusading.
True. To be fair, I like that idea. I like that they still have their relationship with the Black Templars, and continue to be good working BFFs.
Oh, maybe she'll get to work with Lucerne. That'd be cool.
Boy, Lucerne. I need another book with my boy Lucerne in it. Look, he's my new favorite Black Templar, okay? And not just because he's named after a milk brand. I cannot let that go, by the way, every time I see that in the grocery store.
City in Switzerland, but sure. Milk.
Well, because I see that, and I don't see the city in Switzerland every time I go to the grocery store. I do see the milk brand every time. I'm like, I'm a Black Templar boy.
Wow. I mean, we basically said he's super white, right? Milk.
Yeah.
Switzerland.
Yeah. They describe him being very, very pale. I like him. Anyways, I need more about him. I would love if she hooked up with him, like went off and just brought holy war somewhere. I like the idea that Bob can still show up and just be like, nope, this person's on the council. Anyways, peace out. I don't like that he's there because it doesn't make sense in my timeline that I had in my head, but I also like that he shows up just to remind everyone who's in charge.
Right, but we don't exactly know like where this falls. Because again, we don't have any dates. So we don't know exactly where this falls in. I'm going to, like, again, like I said.
The rift is opened.
I'm going to assume this is after
Watchers of the Throne happened.
This is after, yes. But this is after Dawn of Fire is another thing I'm assuming.
Could be. It could be after Dawn of Fire. It's definitely after Watchers of the Throne 2. I don't know where it is in the rest beyond that. I just want dates. Anyways, I'm sure somebody, hopefully somebody knows. Yes, somebody, probably I'm looking at you, Skywatcher Adept, probably knows like something vis-a-vis campaign.
Yeah. Even then, like, do the campaigns even have dates anymore? Because again, I think that they're purposefully obscuring the dates because they keep changing when stuff happens.
I don't know. I just work here. And I'm just trying to make sense of all of this, and I'm struggling to do so. Anyways.
You work here? You actually get paid? I'm impressed.
No.
Oh. No,
I do not. I didn't say I worked for money.
Oh, sorry.
Volunteer work is still work.
That's true.
I really enjoyed this book. I was a little nervous about it after Daemonbreaker.
Me too.
A little nervous about it, but it was really good. Jude Reid is definitely standing out as one of my favorites of the new authors. I hope we continue to see more from her. I really like the way that she wrote this and the Ursula Creed book, which was
the Creed book.
It wasn't Fall of Cadia. Did it have? Was it just Creed? It might have
I
just
think it
been
was just
Creed.
Creed.
Ashes of Cadia.
Oh, okay.
Ashes of Cadia. Apparently, though, I am very cautiously optimistic for this book, our next book, and some people might have almost overhyped it for me in the Discord channel. But I'm very excited for it. I think Keri is less excited for
I'm very less excited for it.
Dominion Genesis, but the artwork is amazing.
Oh,
Look at
I'm
the
even.
artwork.
Oh, I didn't know it's have the nids.
She has Elvira hair, though. Like, are we clear that that is the Elvira Buffont
Well, I mean, yes.
behind her hood?
Uh,
Dominion Genesis by Jonathan D. Beer. We liked The King of the Spoil, so I am. Yes, I did see that it was with the. I'm also a little bit nervous because it has the nids, and not specifically, it doesn't just have the nids. It has Fleet Leviathan, which, quite frankly, I haven't forgiven them for the events of Leviathan.
she's not bitter.
Justice for the characters in that book. Justice now. I'm excited for it, though. I always like a good ad mech book, as I threw it directly on the floor because I did not put it delicately on my desk.
I am not, but I mean, I liked Titanicus, so stranger things have happened.
True. Ha! Yeah, I'm excited for this one. The hype is a little bit there, and not just because she has an Elvira hair of tentacles or cables or whatever you want to call them coming off of her. We'll see.
Is there anything human on her?
Her face, it looks like a bottom part of her face, kind
No,
of.
that's like the shape of her face. It's not just mean she's got a face. It's like a mask.
I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah, they're just so creepy. I see the other guy actually has part of a face.
He does, that little like quadrant of his eye.
Ugh, so creepy.
I love him.
Creep.
Do you want to take us out, Keri?
Yes, before I get super creeped out and then not want to read this book. So
We're reading the book.
I know we are. I'm not saying I don't want to, but I know we are.
Fair.
You've listened to the Warhammer 40k book club episode regarding Morvenn Vahl, Spear of Faith by Jude Reid. Be sure to join us next time for Dominion Genesis by Jonathan D. Beer. Was it Beer or Bear? I never know.
Beer, I think.
Is Beer? I never know. We are an unofficial book club and not affiliated with the Black Library or any of its affiliates. You can find both the vidcast and podcast on our website, WH40kbookclub.com. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, give a review, and all those things to the vidcast on YouTube and now Spotify as well, or the podcast wherever you get podcasts. And come join our Discord. We have fun discussions there. It's actually really, really entertaining. We actually got a lot of people in there actually had to make like different rooms and stuff. So everybody could, everyone could have all their various discussions. It's really gotten to be a lot of fun. So please join us.
Spoiler channel's my favorite.
Yeah, I have that one muted. Because you guys keep spoiling shit I haven't read. Jerks. That's why I made the channel. So it's fine. Anyway, our site also has articles about adventures and reading other Warhammer 40k books and short stories outside of the book club books. So please stay a while and read from McCrag. And I think it's a good thing that we're ending. I think my voice is finally going.
Say goodnight, Kathleen Turner.
Good night, Kathleen Turner.